Eddie Alvarez bet on himself going into UFC on Fox 30, the final fight on his UFC contract, and things do not go his way. He suffers a second-round TKO loss to Dustin Poirier on Saturday night. Of course, Eddie Alvarez, this has to be disappointed for him. He goes in there, he feels he's going to win this fight. He feels he was winning the first fight against Poirier 15 months ago, but this time, just unfortunate result for him. He wasn't able to withstand the power, the striking output of Poirier in this fight, and he gets finished, and now who knows what the future holds for Eddie Alvarez. He's been in this situation before, but it was kind of with much more leverage on his side. Coming from Bellator, was the champion over there, had got some big wins, and now his UFC contract ends off a loss, and who knows what could happen to him. Maybe he sticks around. I imagine the UFC would want to keep Eddie Alvarez. He is obviously one of the best lightweights in the world, one of the most exciting lightweights in the world, and on any night you can put him in there against any of the top fighters in this division, and you're likely to get fireworks, a magical type of fight like we saw against Poirier on Saturday night. So Eddie, it's hard to say where things are going to stand. Will he be willing to come back? Does the UFC want him? How will negotiations play out? For the sake of this argument, let's assume he re-signs with the company, he comes back and is still in the mix among these lightweight contenders. I want to see this Nate Diaz fight happen. This thing has been dated back a very long time to when Eddie Alvarez fought Nate Diaz's good friend and teammate Gilbert Melendez down in Mexico City. They had a post-fight altercation that some people may or may not know about after the fight, when Alvarez, of course, beat Gilbert Melendez in that fight, and it seems like they've been circling each other ever since. The fight's been talked about in the past, it's just never come to fruition. It's hard to really predict a fight like that. Of course, Nate Diaz is a wild card, to say the least. Does he want to fight again? Does he want to fight Alvarez, who is coming off a loss? There's just so many different pieces to this puzzle that really we can't know how it's going to unfold until it does. So my perfect scenario, Eddie Alvarez re-signs with the UFC, they book this Nate Diaz fight, and the winner of that is an extremely relevant name in the lightweight division once again. But we will see what the future holds for Eddie Alvarez coming off this tough loss to Dustin Poirier at UFC on Fox 30.